Because Chris Brown is furious at the unexpected revelation that Karrueche Deion and Deion Sanders secretly got married, the internet is currently in utter turmoil. Now, rumors are circulating that she is expecting twins. This isn't your average family update, folks. Everyone is glued to the television saying, "Yo," as this twist occurs. However, Chris has been resentful ever since it was revealed that Karrueche and Deion were dating, and he makes fun of them whenever he can. However, now that the marriage has been verified and there are rumors of a pregnancy, everything has blown. His rage has escalated into a complete breakdown, nor could the timing be more clumsy. Additionally, people are convinced that this dispute is going to explode in the most repulsive way conceivable because of the way Chris is sending subliminal messages to Deion and Karrueche. Yes, everyone. In order to determine who is receiving all of her time, let's delve into this small drama. Who is occupying her thoughts? All right, so one thing about Mr. Y Chris Brown is that he always finds time to criticize his ex-partners during his extremely hectic day. And it appears that Karrueche is in his sights this time. Since they're split a long time ago, their relationship has been tense. However, Chris has simply shown that he has never truly moved on. Grandpa! The rumors that Karrueche secretly wed her boyfriend Deion Sanders began to swirl a few days ago. However, word is spreading quickly in the streets that Deion and Karrueche trans romance was more than just a secret. It's possible that they secretly got married. After admirers noticed what appeared to be a small wedding ring sitting neatly on Karrueche's finger, the rumors became even louder. And now everyone believes the rumors to be genuine. However, even if the internet is using receipts to piece things together, and one guy is not at all amused with the revelation, and Mr. Chris Breezy is already losing his mind over the whole thing, and when he likely believed that things couldn't get any worse, he learned from another source that Karrueche is. According to reports, Prago is indeed having the twins. After his cancer scare, Karrueche and Deion decided it was time to establish a small family of their own, according to the source. You all recall the video that Deion shared in which he talked candidly about his fight with cancer, and how Karrueche was present. You mean by his side? She wasn't merely a supporting character either. As she described how terrible the entire voyage had been, you could tell how upset she was getting as she spoke. And although Deion maintained a composed demeanor, Karrueche made it abundantly evident that this wasn't just his battle. It was always them, not him, when she announced that they were going to have surgery. Interview.
We are at the hospital because we are dealing with we were dealing with bladder cancer. And he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today.
And she was basically filling every supportive girlfriend role there was, including attending doctor's appointments and communicating with his trainer. And to be honest, announcing the relationship in that way is a big deal. For them, there was no soft launch or easing in, but most people take their time. It proceeded directly from private to surgical and medical facilities. Even though it may not be a typical love story, it has undoubtedly strengthened their bond. If you understand what I mean, it undoubtedly made them closer, because Homegirl is supposedly married and expecting twins. Many people now have some sort of feeling toward the circumstance for a number of reasons. To put it mildly, Deion has a lengthy history of troubled relationships. He had 3 children with Carolyn Chambers, his first wife, before divorcing her. After that, they got married to Polar Bigger Sanders and had 2 more kids before their bitter divorce. He then dragged Parr through the mud during the divorce, battling for custody and portraying her in court as an unstable and unfit mother. Miss Tracy Edmonds followed. After 7 years of dating, he eventually proposed, but in 2023, after more than 10 years of courtship, he called off the engagement. Dating. Word spread that Karrueche was the new woman he was seeing. Many thought she was putting herself at danger of heartbreak. Fans, however, are prepared to let her live out her small fantasy if she is content. Chris Brown, that is. From the second, Chris has been in a downward spiral since the news about Karrueche and Deion leaked. Additionally, his actions are only becoming more problematic, because rumors are circulating that Chris has been attempting to regain Karrueche's favor for some time. And he genuinely believed he had a chance. However, now that reality is setting in, she's obviously not looking for him as much. He has yet to call her, and to be honest, considering everything he did to her, it's crazy that Chris is even surprised by that. Now, Karrueche and Chris first connected in 2011 when she was attempting to advance her modeling career while working in fashion. They clicked. Swiftly, and by March of the same year, went public. However, it didn't take long for cracks to appear, as Chris was already involved with his ex-girlfriend Rihanna again within a year. He and Rihanna had resumed their romance by early 2012, leaving Karrueche in the midst of a domestic crisis and subject to constant criticism from Rihanna's ardent fans. Admirer. Eventually ended his relationship with Karrueche, but everyone gave him the side-eye for the way he did it. I love Karrueche very much, but I don't want my friendship with Rihanna to hurt her, he asserted. I would prefer to be unmarried so that we may both have fulfilling lives. Rather than quietly moving on, however, he turned around and released a full promotional video in which he declared his simultaneous love for Karrueche and Rihanna. Interview
Somebody, then you tend to fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult. Is it such thing as loving 2 people? I don't know.
We talk about them unfaithful hoes, yo. However, Brianna and I had already reached a breaking point in May 2013. Exactly as planned, Chris hurried back to Karrueche. The crazy part is that she immediately took it back. In a matter of weeks, as if nothing had occurred, they were already living together once more. Naturally, however, history was repeated. After Chris checked himself into a recovery facility, there were allegations that he had slept with a staff member. Nevertheless, he ended up back in jail. Furthermore, after discovering that they were emailing several women behind her back, Karrueche reportedly ended the relationship. And the relationship was stuck in a rut for months. Chris would be seen skulking around with another woman by Karrueche. They would engage in violent altercations, and Chris would be insulting to her on social media. Nevertheless, they always managed to get back together. However, Karrueche's discovery that Chris had cheated once more was the tipping point. With model Amy Nina Guzman this time, and it was more than a passing fancy. With her, he gave birth to a complete child. Karrueche, like everyone else, learned about it online, and she went totally crazy. She released a, "Listen, you can only take so much," the tweet read. Chris and his family, good luck. I don't care about baby drama. It appears that I am once more a single woman. Karrueche then appeared to at last move on, focusing her efforts on her job and restoring her life gradually. She even began dating other individuals. However, Chris was unable to cope with it for some reason. He became crazily envious every time he caught sight of her with a new man. He had a conversation with Ryan Serhant in 2015 where he declared that he was accepting responsibility for his acts and owning up to his shortcomings. In the meantime, Karrueche was speaking about her past with Chris in interviews, and she wasn't having any of it. Chris wasn't having any of it. He left. Honestly, it's so effing pointless to keep doing interviews about me. she wrote online in response to her incessant mention of him. Discuss your career. Interviewing someone should be avoided if there is no longer a relationship. I refuse to give you the pleasure of intruding into my private affairs. It's becoming quite feeble. These aren't loyal, you know that. Karrueche, however, had no intention of allowing him to play in her face once more. She clapped back, stating that I responded as a responsible adult after they posed a question. I will not shy away from something I have experienced. I'm discussing my experiences in life. I'm not criticizing or disparaging you, like I could with ease. Please don't be angry with me because your lack of loyalty has caused our relationship to end. Are you aware of what is weak? You're attempting to give me gifts, but you're forcing yourself into my car, breaking my window, and blowing up my phone. As I've often advised you, get over your nonsense and change your life. Oh, he got it from her. What did you read? Chris, however, gave in right away and acknowledged that she still had feelings for her. He stated, I will always be grateful that you were a part of my life. You've taught me so much. I hope you have the happiest possible life. In Karrueche, I was only attempting to defend the I adore this gal. Regards. I gained a lot of knowledge. However, the drama didn't end there. According to reports, Chris started following Karrueche, keeping tabs on her and even threatening her and her family. As of 2017, Karrueche had enough and filed for a restraining order in court. When Chris asked her to return the diamond rings he had given her throughout their relationship, she said in court that he became violent. He allegedly sent threatening SMS after she declined. Everyone was left wondering how things had gotten to this point because it was so nasty. However, it didn't end there. Karrueche said in court filings that Chris had threatened to kill her, harass her friends, and possibly shoot her. She said he told some individuals he was going to unalive me during the second week of February. He stated, if no one else can have me, he's going to take me out. Additionally, Karrueche disclosed that Chris had engaged in physical violence while they were still dating in her direction. Although she didn't report it to the police at the time, she claimed he shoved her down the stairs and twice hit her in the stomach. She claims that all of this occurred when Chris was on probation for assault. Rihanna in 2009. In order to avoid jail time, he accepted a plea deal that included community service after entering a guilty plea to felony assault and criminal threats. Chris completed more than 1,000 hours of community service in 2015 as a result of the Rihanna incident. You would think that he would have learned to keep his hands to himself and stay in his lane. However, he is accused of repeating the same harmful behavior with another woman while paying for the first one. Certain patterns simply never go away, and that's the reason fans continue to disparage him. Chris seemed to be pretending that he couldn't operate without Karrueche. He immediately resumed his internet obsession with her when her 5-year restraining order against him ended. He followed blogs where she liked and commented on everything, even her photos. When Karrueche shared some adorable photos of herself last year, Chris liked the post to let everyone know he had seen them. And if there was any evidence that Chris was still obsessed with Karrueche, it was during his brief conflict with Quo. The publication of his album 111. Chris made it clear that Quo had dated Karrueche in a song called Freak, letting everyone know that he was salty. All right, no effing on my obies. I ain't gonna make a sequel, he rapped. Drinking, I don't do any quid, so that was 1942. According to Freaky Beast, she prefers amigos to migos. Quo clapped back hard on the track and called Tinder, saying that he had horrible Karrueche after Chris faltered and failed to hold. But Chris was unaware that he was digging himself a small hole. Back, scolding Chris for his past sexual assaults and even calling him a cokehead. He rapped, realized his mistake, and left. Don't you post with a gangster named B? She won't come home, so don't beat her up. She must be under the influence of narcotics. Your plug. After which he said, tell me, little bro, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? You mentioned that it's bigger than it actually is, but it's not because I'm digging in and showing them how hot I am. It's showing respect. But I know you don't realize you're on my neck and you're at the place. Chris produced a song about it on the same album. Entire song called Residual, which is dedicated to Karrueche. However, Karrueche was addressed in the lyrics, which stated, was it on my mind? I'm still thinking about her. Do we make it more substantial? Build it up so that it can wash out. Did I lace you up? Tell me. Just lace you up and watch you flee. Tell me who else you know. However, each time Chris sings that song, he's wearing a red bandana or fastening it to the microphone to ensure that everyone is aware of what and who he is referring to. Interview 14-12. Additionally, a lot of admirers believe that Chris is attempting to honor the occasion when Karrueche threw him a welcome back party following his release from prison in 2014. She was wearing a blindfold. She escorted him to the party wearing a red bandana. Thus, it seems as though he is remembering those times when he dons a red bandana while performing, desiring to return to them. Chris did indeed put her through it. However, now that she's letting go of the old Chris, the initial man who appeared to love her back, now has a serious problem with it. Additionally, after learning that she was married and expecting a child, Chris broke out about it. Lilish still irritates me to this day since she was shaded in the social media post. I'm going to pray about it, and if you think that's bad, things are going to get messier because Chris still wants Karrueche back, according to a source, and it's said that he contacted her in an attempt to sort things out. As if Karrueche would retract it, he even offered to raise the twins. It's giving desperation, golly. He's simply not coping well with the fact that his two ex-girlfriends, Karrueche and Rihanna, appear to be moving away from him. Chris Brown has officially lost it, everyone. From persistently following her on the internet, to sending her songs and subliminal messages. And now, apparently Chris can't manage the full-blown desperation that comes with someone who genuinely seems to love and respect her offering to raise her twins if she accepts him back. Additionally, fans are witnessing his real-time breakdown, demonstrating that some people simply cannot tolerate seeing their ex-partners succeed in life. However, the actual query at hand is, does Karrueche ever think about apologizing? Or is this the last time she will close the door? However, one thing is certain. Thank you. Definitely. The conflict is far from resolved. And if Chris continues on this path, it will soon become unimaginable for anyone. Though the players are positioned and the stage is prepared. Additionally, the upcoming chapter is sure to be explosive. So fasten your seatbelt, because the drama isn't just developing. It's getting worse, and no one can predict how awful things will get. Name the person. Who is going to subscribe, ShadePod? Hit the like button and comment below. Take a look at the following video.